In 2018, over 164,000 pounds of raw ground turkey were recalled after a Salmonella outbreak tore through 35 states, hospitalizing hundreds of Americans who trusted the brand name on the package. But buy the wrong turkey and what you're really putting on your plate is mechanically separated poultry, sodium phosphates, sodium nitrites, and chemical preservatives classified as possible carcinogens, all disguised as wholesome holiday protein. If this is the turkey you've been buying for 5, 10, 20 Thanksgiving straight, every hidden additive has been accumulating in your body that entire time. Today, we're breaking down 11 turkey brands that failed on safety, transparency, and ingredients, including brands nearly every American household trusts without question. Plus, the 2 brands that actually deliver clean, honest turkey worth your money. Coming in at number 11, Bar S. You've seen it in every budget aisle, stacked high, priced low, positioned as the affordable way to put turkey on the table for families watching every dollar. Bar S wants you to believe that cheap turkey is still real turkey. It isn't. In 2016, Bar S triggered one of the largest meat recalls in United States history. Over 7 million pounds pulled from store shelves nationwide. 7 million pounds of product that made it past quality control, past federal inspectors, past every safety net that's supposed to protect American families. That's not a minor hiccup. That's a systemic failure on a scale most people can't even comprehend. And the ingredients that survived the recall aren't much better. Flip the package over. Mechanically separated turkey, corn syrup, potassium lactate. This isn't sliced turkey breast. This is a paste, extruded through machines, reformed into shapes, and pumped with sugar and chemical stabilizers to mimic the texture of something that resembles real meat. Peel back that plastic. That slick, wet sheen on the surface isn't moisture from fresh-cut turkey. It's the residue of processing chemicals clinging to something that barely qualifies as food. The corn syrup alone should stop you cold. For anyone managing type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, or families feeding this to children at lunch every single day, hidden corn syrup in deli meat can spike blood sugar in ways you'd never expect from something savory. Your body doesn't care that it came from turkey packaging instead of a candy wrapper. Sugar is sugar. This one is hiding where nobody thinks to look. 7 million pounds recalled. Corn syrup in your cold cuts. That's the real cost of cheap. You just saw what the cheapest brand is hiding, so surely spending a few dollars more gets you something better, right? Not even close. At number 10, we have Lando Frost. Widely available in value packs, marketed as affordable premium deli meat for everyday American families. Premium. That word does a lot of heavy lifting for a product built on modified food starch, sodium diacetate, and added sugar. Pick up a pack of Lando Frost turkey. Feel the weight in your hand. Now, flip it over and read the sodium count. Over 600 milligrams in a single small serving. 2 sandwiches and you've consumed more sodium than most cardiologists want you eating in an entire meal. That's not a side effect. That's the product working exactly as designed, pumped with sodium to create a flavor that masks the absence of actual quality. Open the package. That uniform, almost rubbery texture where each slice is identical to the last, that's not how real turkey behaves. That's modified food starch doing what starch does, binding water, creating a false impression of moisture and quality in something that would otherwise taste like nothing. Real turkey tears unevenly. It has visible muscle grain. It feels different slice to slice. This feels manufactured because it is manufactured. For anyone taking ACE inhibitors or diuretics for heart conditions, or families relying on these value packs for daily school and work lunches, excess sodium and potassium additives can throw your electrolyte balance completely off course. Your medication is trying to regulate your body. This turkey is fighting against it with every single sandwich. Premium is a word they printed on the package. 600 milligrams of sodium per serving is the truth they printed on the back. Lando Frost charges more than Bar S for ingredients that are just as processed and sodium levels that are even worse. Think you've been making the smart choice by buying store brand? Wait until you see what store brand really means. Number 9. Great value. Walmart's house brand. The go-to turkey for millions of budget shoppers who assume that a simple store brand label means straightforward meat without the fancy markup. That assumption is dangerously wrong. Pull a package of great value turkey from the deli case. Flip it over. Sodium nitrite, carrageenan, multiple phosphate additives. And here's what makes great value uniquely troubling among every brand on this list. You have absolutely no idea who made it. Walmart doesn't produce this turkey. They outsource production to various contract packers, and sourcing transparency is virtually non-existent. The factory that packed your turkey last month might not be the same facility making it this month. Different plants, different quality standards, different supply chains, all wearing the same blue and yellow label as if nothing changed. Carrageenan is the ingredient that should concern you most. It's a thickener extracted from seaweed that sounds perfectly harmless until you read the peer-reviewed research linking it to gastrointestinal inflammation, intestinal lesions, and immune disruption. For anyone already dealing with digestive issues, colitis, or compromised gut health, or families who buy great value every week because the price feels responsible and reasonable, this additive can trigger flare-ups and intestinal distress that seem to appear out of nowhere. You can't trace the problem back to your turkey because you'd never suspect deli meat as the source of your stomach pain. No transparency on who makes it. No traceability on where it comes from. No accountability when something goes wrong. Just a store brand label and whatever contract packer offered the lowest bid this quarter. See the pattern forming? Budget brands cut corners. Store brands hide behind anonymity. So where does that leave the legacy names your family has trusted for generations? Let's find out. Number 8. Oscar Mayer. That name carries weight in this country. Generations of Americans grew up with Oscar Mayer in the refrigerator. The jingle you can still sing from memory. The Wienermobile, the all-American branding that feels like a piece of your childhood preserved in every package. Open a package of Oscar Mayer turkey today, and childhood is over. Their turkey deli meats contain sodium phosphates, mechanically separated turkey, dextrose, and artificial flavors that are worlds apart from the simple sliced meat consumers think they're buying. Mechanically separated turkey means bones, cartilage, and carcasses forced through a sieve under extreme high pressure until a paste emerges on the other side. That paste gets reformed and sliced into what becomes your lunch meat. Dextrose is just another name for sugar. Artificial flavors are chemical compounds engineered in laboratories to make that paste taste like something it fundamentally is not. But sodium phosphates are the real danger hiding in plain sight on that ingredient panel. For anyone with declining kidney function who can't efficiently clear excess phosphorus, or people on daily medication who depend on stable mineral levels to stay healthy, sodium phosphates accelerate bone loss and arterial calcification. That means hardened arteries caused by a mineral your kidneys were never designed to process at those concentrations. Your body can't handle what Oscar Mayer put in your turkey. They know. They print it on the label in small type and count on you never reading it. The jingle still plays. The turkey hasn't been real in years. Generations of trust spent on mechanically separated paste. This next one has a loyal fan base on the West Coast that swears by its freshness and local quality. What the federal record shows is a very different story. Number 7. Foster Farms. For decades, Foster Farms marketed itself as the fresh, local, West Coast turkey producer that cared about doing things right. California pride in every package. Farm fresh quality stamped on every label. Then came the outbreak that shattered that image. Between 2013 and 2014, Foster Farms facilities were linked to a massive antibiotic-resistant Salmonella Heidelberg outbreak that sickened over 600 people across multiple states. Not ordinary salmonella that responds to standard treatment. Antibiotic-resistant salmonella, the kind that doctors cannot kill with conventional antibiotics. The kind that turns a routine food safety issue into a potentially fatal infection. The USDA issued multiple warnings to Foster Farms. The contamination continued spreading through their supply chain. Over 600 Americans fell seriously ill from a brand that built its entire reputation on being fresher and safer than the national competition. Smell a package of Foster Farms turkey when you first open it. That faintly sour edge beneath the raw poultry scent, that subtle metallic undertone, most people dismiss it without a second thought. They shouldn't. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria don't announce themselves with obvious signs, but the industrial conditions that breed them leave traces a careful nose can catch. For anyone with a weakened immune system dealing with age-related health challenges, or families cooking turkey for young children and elderly relatives sitting at the same Thanksgiving table, antibiotic-resistant infections can become life-threatening when the standard treatments your doctor reaches for first simply do not work. Fresh and local sounded so reassuring. 600 people learned what those words were really worth. The warnings came. Foster Farms kept selling. Fresh from the farm. Resistant bacteria included at no extra charge. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. The FDA knew about Foster Farms. They also knew about this next brand, and they did nothing meaningful to stop either one. Number 6. Hillshire Farm Deli Turkey. Marketed as a convenient, protein-rich lunch option that hardworking families have relied on for years to make meal prep simple. Grab a package from the deli section. Read past the appetizing photo on the front. Sodium nitrites, caramel color, modified cornstarch, and a sodium count that can exceed 500 milligrams in a single serving. Let's start with what's most dangerous. Sodium nitrites are preservatives that react with proteins in your stomach to form nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are compounds classified as probable carcinogens by international health agencies. You're eating them every day between 2 slices of bread with mustard, thinking you're making a sensible, protein-rich lunch choice. Caramel color isn't caramel. It's not melted sugar. It's a chemical compound produced through ammonia processing that contains 4-methylimidazole, another substance linked to cancer in laboratory studies. They put it in turkey to make the color look more appealing, more natural, more like the real thing. The irony is sickening. Modified cornstarch is filler. It binds water, adds weight, and creates the illusion of moisture in a product that's already been pumped with solutions to inflate its mass and price. For anyone managing blood pressure on daily medication, or families packing these into lunchboxes 5 days a week for years on end, over 500 milligrams of sodium per serving can interfere with medication effectiveness and elevate cardiovascular risk with every single sandwich. 2 sandwiches daily, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. That's cardiovascular sabotage dressed up as weekday convenience. Protein-rich on the label, cancer-linked preservatives in every bite. A lot of people switched to this next brand thinking the pastoral branding meant cleaner, more careful farming. It didn't. Number 5. Shady Brook Farms. The name alone paints a picture that could hang in a country kitchen. A shady brook, rolling green pastures, a small family farm raising turkeys the old-fashioned way with care and integrity. The branding is beautiful. The reality is Cargill. Shady Brook Farms is owned by Cargill, one of the largest industrial meat processing corporations on the planet. Those turkeys aren't raised beside a pastoral brook. They're produced at absolutely massive scale with routine antibiotic use and sodium-enhanced solutions injected to inflate weight and moisture content before packaging. The pastoral label is a costume. Underneath it is an industrial operation completely indistinguishable from every other factory farm that processes millions of birds annually. Undisclosed sodium and phosphate additives create a hidden dietary burden that never appears on the pretty front of the package. You have to hunt through the fine print to discover what you're actually feeding your family. For anyone managing cholesterol with statin medications, or people carefully watching dietary sodium after a cardiac event or heart surgery, these undisclosed additives can completely undermine months of careful dietary discipline in a single holiday meal. You chose the farm-sounding brand because it felt responsible, because the image of that brook and those green fields made you feel like you were making a better choice. Cargill thanks you for that instinct every quarter when earnings come in. A shady brook on the label, a multinational corporation behind the curtain. The name was the most natural thing about this turkey. We're not done. The next brand on this list was linked to an outbreak that sickened hundreds across dozens of states, and it's probably been sitting in your kitchen every single Thanksgiving for years. Number 4. Jenny O, a household name for decades. The turkey brand your family probably served last November, and the one before that, and every holiday as far back as you can remember. In 2018, Jenny O recalled over 164,000 pounds of raw ground turkey after it was linked to a Salmonella outbreak that sickened hundreds of people across 35 states. Hundreds of Americans sick, 35 states affected, one single brand responsible. Open a package of ground Jenny O turkey and look at it closely. That pale pink color, unnervingly uniform, with absolutely no variation in shade or texture from edge to edge. Real ground turkey from a quality source shows streaks of lighter and darker meat, visible bits of natural fat, an uneven, honest appearance that tells you this came from an actual animal. Jenny O's product looks processed because it has been homogenized into something almost synthetic in its perfect uniformity. The Salmonella outbreak wasn't an isolated freak accident or a one-time supplier failure. It was a systemic production chain breakdown that reached 35 states because the contamination was embedded deep in the process. For anyone with weakened immune function or chronic health conditions, or families with young children who eat ground turkey regularly in tacos, casseroles, meatballs, and pasta sauces every week, Salmonella can escalate rapidly into bloodstream infections, dangerous dehydration, and hospitalization that turns a family dinner into an emergency room visit. A household name, a nationwide outbreak, 164,000 pounds recalled, hundreds hospitalized. Jenny O is still sitting in the meat aisle like absolutely nothing happened. Check your freezer right now, seriously, because this next brand shows up in almost every discount store and warehouse club in America. Number 3. Marval. No-frills whole turkeys sold at discount prices. The kind you grab without thinking because turkey is turkey and the price looks right. That thinking is exactly what they're counting on. Marval turkeys are injected with sodium phosphate solutions and broth to add moisture and weight. On the surface, that sounds almost harmless. Extra moisture means juicier meat, right? But this injection process significantly inflates sodium content far beyond what the label suggests at first glance. The number on the nutrition panel reflects a serving of turkey meat. The solution injected deep into that meat adds sodium that doesn't get properly represented in the way consumers actually understand serving sizes. You think you're eating turkey with a manageable sodium count. You're eating turkey that's been inflated like a water balloon with concentrated salt solution sold to you at per-pound turkey prices. Feel a Marvel turkey when it thaws in your sink. That slippery, almost gelatinous film coating the surface isn't natural moisture. That's the injected solution weeping out of tissue that can't hold it anymore. Real turkey skin feels relatively dry, slightly tacky, with a natural pebbled texture. Marval's feels like it's been soaking in something industrial. For anyone on a restricted sodium diet due to congestive heart failure or chronic kidney disease, or families who assume that a whole unprocessed turkey must be safer than packaged deli meat, hidden sodium loads can trigger fluid retention and emergency complications from what looked like a perfectly straightforward dinner. A whole turkey shouldn't send you to the hospital. With Marvel, even modest overages above your sodium limit can do exactly that. No frills, no transparency, no honesty about what's really inside. That brand has been quietly selling inflated turkeys for years. This next one has been deceiving American families even longer, backed by the single most recognizable turkey name in the country. Number 2. Butterball, America's most iconic turkey brand, completely synonymous with Thanksgiving itself. The turkey that grandma made, that your family gathers around to carve every holiday, that feels like a tradition as fundamentally American as the meal on the table. Undercover investigations at Butterball facilities have documented deeply troubling animal handling practices that generated national headlines and public outrage. But what concerns your health directly is not the farm footage. It's what's inside the bird you're bringing home. Butterball products frequently contain up to 8% retained water and sodium-based solutions injected to increase weight and add flavor before packaging. 8% of your turkey is not turkey. That means for every 12-pound bird you buy and pay full price for, nearly a full pound of what you're carrying home is saltwater. Pick up a Butterball at the store. It's heavier than it should be for its size. That extra weight isn't more meat, more protein, more value. It's a brine solution pumped in at the processing plant, designed to make you pay turkey prices for water. That self-basting label printed on the front that sounds like a convenient time-saving feature for busy holiday cooks, that's actually the delivery mechanism for sodium you never requested and never needed. For anyone managing hypertension, heart failure, or kidney disease, or families cooking the holiday centerpiece for relatives with multiple health conditions sitting around the same table, that injected sodium can push daily intake well beyond safe limits from a single generous serving of what you thought was just turkey. Your Thanksgiving centerpiece could be the most dangerous dish at the table, not because of what you seasoned it with, because of what Butterball injected long before you ever opened that packaging. America's turkey, 8% saltwater at premium prices. What's the worst turkey brand you've ever bought? Drop it in the comments below. Let's see how many of us have been carving into these brands every November without knowing what was really inside. And now, number 1. The single riskiest turkey brand on this entire list. A brand that combines virtually every danger we've exposed today into one product sold at rock-bottom prices to families who can least afford the medical consequences. Smithfield and their Gwaltney turkey brand, sold at prices so low they should function as a warning label all by themselves. Smithfield has faced repeated USDA violations for food safety failures at their processing facilities, OSHA fines for dangerous plant safety conditions that put workers at risk, environmental contamination lawsuits filed by communities living downstream from their operations. This is a company that systematically cuts corners everywhere, from the workers on the factory floor to the product in the package, to the waterways in the surrounding communities. Their processed turkey products are loaded with sodium nitrites, BHA, and mechanically separated poultry, BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, a synthetic chemical preservative classified as a possible human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the same international body that flagged glyphosate and other chemicals that have driven thousands of cancer lawsuits worldwide. BHA is in your turkey, not because it improves the taste or the nutrition, because it extends shelf life over your life. That's the equation Smithfield solved. Open a Gwaltney turkey product. Smell that chemical, almost plasticky undertone hiding beneath the artificial smoky flavoring. Notice that unnaturally long shelf life that should make any informed consumer wonder what exactly is keeping this meat looking pink weeks after it should have turned. Real turkey oxidizes. It darkens. It changes color over days. This doesn't change because it's been chemically embalmed to maintain appearances long past its natural timeline. For anyone facing cancer screenings who needs to minimize carcinogen exposure, or people managing kidney decline and uncontrolled blood pressure, or families stretching tight grocery budgets by reaching for the cheapest option available, the combination of BHA, sky-high sodium, and nitrites in a single product makes Smithfield Gwaltney the most dangerous turkey brand you can put on your family's table. Every other brand on this list has one or two serious problems. Smithfield has all of them at once. USDA violations, OSHA fines, environmental destruction, a possible carcinogen as a listed ingredient, mechanically separated paste sold as meat, the cheapest turkey in the store, the most expensive mistake you'll ever make for your health. 11 brands exposed. 11 brands hiding behind trust, tradition, and low prices. But don't give up on turkey entirely. 2 brands prove it's still possible to eat clean, honest, real turkey without hidden sodium, chemical preservatives, or labels designed to deceive you. Safe pick number 1. Plainville Farms. This is what turkey is supposed to look like when a company actually cares about what they're selling you. Plainville Farms raises turkeys with no antibiotics ever. Not reduced antibiotics when convenient. Not antibiotics only when medically necessary. Never. Their feed is entirely vegetable-based, with no animal byproducts and no artificial growth promoters pumping birds to unnatural sizes on accelerated timelines. Open a package of Plainville turkey and the difference hits you immediately. The color is different from everything we just exposed. It's not that uncanny uniform pink you see from the processed brands. It looks like actual meat with natural variation in shade, visible muscle grain, the kind of texture that tells you this came from a real bird raised properly, not from a factory paste extruder. Smell it. Clean, no chemical undertone, no plasticky preservative scent lingering beneath the surface. Just turkey. Their products carry USDA process-verified certification and are audited by independent third-party inspectors for humane handling practices and clean ingredient lists. No added phosphates. No sodium nitrites. No artificial preservatives of any kind. Read the ingredient panel and you can actually understand every single word printed on it. That shouldn't feel revolutionary, but after 11 brands of sodium diacetate, mechanically separated poultry, and BHA, simplicity feels like a revelation. For anyone managing kidney health, blood pressure, or heart disease, or people who simply want to know exactly what they're feeding their family without needing a chemistry background, Plainville delivers genuinely lower sodium counts and the complete absence of those phosphate additives that silently stress your organs. You'll pay slightly more than the factory brands. The difference is you're paying for actual turkey, not saltwater, and corn syrup wearing a turkey costume. Safe pick number 2. Diestel Turkey Ranch, a 4-generation family ranch in Sonora, California. Not a corporation borrowing family imagery for marketing. An actual family raising turkeys on the same land for over 100 years, with their name and reputation on every single bird. Diestel raises free-range turkeys on a vegetarian diet with no antibiotics, no added hormones, and no synthetic ingredients from farm to package. They hold Global Animal Partnership certifications, the kind of rigorous third-party verification that Shady Brook Farms and Butterball never pursued because industrial operations cannot pass those audits. Pick up a Diestel turkey at the store. The difference starts with the weight. It feels honest. No 8% saltwater solution inflating the mass. No injected broth adding phantom pounds to the price. What you see on the scale is what you're getting. Turkey. Cook one, and the difference becomes undeniable. The meat has depth of flavor that doesn't come from sodium solutions or chemical enhancers. It tastes the way turkey tasted before the industry turned it into a delivery system for additives and retained water. The skin crisps naturally because it hasn't been saturated with injected moisture. The drippings make real gravy because the bird wasn't diluted before it reached your kitchen. Their ingredient lists are short, readable, and contain nothing requiring a chemistry degree. No added solutions, no broth injections, no phosphates in the fine print. For anyone on blood pressure medication or managing kidney function and blood sugar stability, or families who want one holiday centerpiece they don't need to second guess, Diestel offers clean protein without a single hidden ingredient working against your health. 4 generations of honest ranching. That's what real turkey tradition looks like. 11 brands, 11 betrayals, one trip to the store that changes everything. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.